Hey, welcome to the Game Club movie. Wait, Gus isn't here. We can call it whatever we want.
Game Club.
Game Club?
Book Club.
Game Club. The book club's back.
Game Club Book Club.
Ashley doesn't like the book part of it.
I like the book part of it.
We're going to have a war on the YouTube name then because I keep being like,
Game Club Book Club.
Well, we're shooting this one a little bit early, so because it's Tuesday now instead of after the patch on Wednesday like we normally do.
Because
so
I'm going to be out of the office
right
on patch day, but I played through this damn game. I want to talk about
You're
it.
the only one that actually
You're
finished
the only one
it.
who finished it.
Oh my god!
Because that's my I mentioned that early because that's my excuse for not being done with it. I'm in chapter 4.
Right. I'm also in chapter 4.
Chapter 4, and then Ashley's actually
she
made
finished
it.
it. You know what? I didn't like this game.
Didn't like the
I kind of wanted to be like, I thought Gus might be on this, so I could be like, I'm going to recuse myself from this game club, but he's not, so I'm here.
Yeah, it's hard to say I didn't like it because I wasn't playing it thinking, wow, I'm really enjoying myself. But if I had been thinking I'm really enjoying myself while playing this game, there'd be something incredibly wrong with me.
No, you're allowed to enjoy. It's just like going to a horror movie. You can say, I enjoyed a horror movie.
Right.
You saw something awful happen, but you still enjoyed yourself.
I don't go to horror movies.
Okay,
Fair
but
enough.
people do.
But some people do,
yeah.
right?
There are audiences for that.
I did enjoy the puzzle mechanics. You know, as a puzzle game, I thought it was, plenty strong. There's a lot to solve. It's just that every little bit of it is terrifying.
Yeah, for
and stressful.
anyone that's joining us that hasn't actually played the game yet, it's a 2D side, or not really side scroller, but it's very akin to.
It's like a point and click puzzle game.
Very akin to
basically.
the old Sierra games like King's Quest, only way darker.
Way darker.
Way darker.
Yeah. So a couple of quick things. One is this is a full spoiler show. If you haven't played the game, be aware of that. You may not care. That's totally fine too. A lot of this game, I feel like, is the experience. We can say whatever we want about it, but you have to see some of it for yourself to really get the impact of terror. But the description of the game on Steam is: the cat lady follows Susan Ashworth, a lonely 40-year-old on the verge of suicide. Not on the verge.
No.
She has no family, no friends, and no hope for a better future. One day, she discovers that 5 strangers will come along and change everything for the worse.
That's such a polite way to put it. What that whole thing is.
Somebody, I think they got like someone who was fresh out of college. It was like, I'm excited to be a copy editor, guys. This is my first.
It was like they were writing a script for Friends and not for this horrible psychological.
Right. So just to be clear, the game starts off with her committing suicide.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Full on suicide.
Takes a whole bunch of like sleeping pills or whatever.
34 to be exact.
34.
Or
She
was it
counted. She
37?
was very. She was
34.
very
34, yeah.
precise about the whole thing. Kills herself. And then meets, what is it, the Queen of Maggots?
The Queen of Maggots.
Who's not death. She wants to be clear. She's not death.
But
Also-
she has
She's just the
powers
Queen
of
of
the
Maggots.
gods.
Did you notice
She's
her
a queen while the
arms?
run
They
is
were
set.
like
They're so
freaky long, right?
Everybody has way too long arms in
Yeah.
this freaking game. It's
But her
driving me
especially.
nuts.
She's
Yeah.
old lady in her head is always
And
doing
they're
this.
all like, oh.
Slender
Like
man.
she's the only person that talks with like the Muppet
Well, it
head.
seems like
Yeah.
she's a puppet.
Yeah.
That's what it seems like. It seems like she's like
That's a great way
like
to put it.
a being of some sort that's not used to having a body like that, and it doesn't work properly.
Mm-hmm.
That's true. Also, in the Bleach scene,
Oh my
that
God.
woman walks like all like it's like
She-
somebody
that
was like,
Oh, yeah.
"This looks
That's true.
ridiculous. Let's make this." I pop my neck out.
Yeah,
That's how she walks and drives me crazy.
yeah, she's terrifying.
She's weird. Also, there's no scream when she pours bleach in your face.
Right?
It's like,
what
hold
is that
on.
all about?
Well, your mouth is full of bleach.
Well, I'm sure you make some
Powdered
sort of gargle
bleach.
or something.
Like
That
at
was
least
not a
some
liquid,
sort
right?
Of, there would be some sort of sound
Right.
response of some kind, even if
Or
it's like,
nothing.
Come on, that wasn't even her first death that
That's
day.
true.
I mean,
True. That's true. So after she dies, after she kills herself the first time, the Queen of Maggots says, "You don't get to die. I'm not letting you die. There are 5 people who are really, really horrible." And you're like, yeah. She says they're going to want to hurt you. And you're like, yeah, whatever. Don't really care.
not
She
my
gets worse.
problem.
So until you bring them to me for punishment, you don't get to die.
And by that, she means kill them.
Right.
Right.
Yes.
But she says like, well, you don't have to kill them, but you're probably gonna want to.
And you totally do.
Yeah, and you totally do.
You totally do.
Oh, yeah.
I feel no remorse about any of
No,
those.
not
No.
so far. So did you guys say, yeah, I'm down? Or I told her to basically like, fuck off. I'm my own
Really?
person.
I was like, all right, whatever to get you to shut up.
I told her, I'll do it my way.
That's what I did, yeah.
And,
she
and,
gets
and then
really
she gets
mad.
mad. She's like, don't you sass me, young lady. I'll wave my long arms at you.
I didn't
and
get
be
that. She
scary.
was like, oh, I'm a star pupil. Although the candle that you blow out is right by the door, and I went to blow out the candle, and I nudged the door, and she was like, you get back here and blow out this candle.
I'm looking up.
I didn't know that
She
was an
yelled at you.
Wow,
me.
okay.
I was
She
not
didn't
happy.
she didn't tell me to blow one out. was just like, hey, what's this?
Well,
oh.
yeah, she doesn't tell you until you leave the room. Like, she yells at you, like, you get back here and do this. It reminded me of Eliza's tea room. Does anybody remember that?
No.
It was an old ARG. I'll look it up how long ago. That's like the same kind of similar art style, but Eliza's tea room was better. That's what it reminded me of.
Yeah, so so every time you blow out a candle, somebody who's already on the verge of death dies, which
Right.
is what gives you another life, right?
Right.
That's sort of how
Seems
that.
to be,
that's
yeah.
the impression I got, but it's
Somebody dies.
a lot of
Stealing
it's not
their life.
fully explained. But are you stealing their life because they were about to lose it anyway? Maybe it's one of those Grim Reaper things
still
where
had it.
they take it right before the moment of impending doom anyway. So at that point, they're still alive. They're just,
Yeah?
they just like so. They kind of die like a second or two earlier, and then but they're going to anyway. But they're still technically alive. You can take that alive, and you just go. Glug, glug, glug.
You think maybe she should like blow out the candle of an Olympian or something, and she'd come back like all these weak, near dead people that doesn't really fuel her up as much as she could use.
No idea, man.
Doesn't stop her from braining. Okay, so after you go, you wake up from your near death but dead experience.
Your death, but then returned to life experience.
Right. Your undead experience.
In a mental hospital.
Your de-deaded experience. Yeah, you're in a mental hospital, and to get out, you have to go through another series of puzzles, and then you end up dealing with Dr. X, who's a tremendous douchebag and also a murderer, as you discover.
I'm like a big
Right, he
aficionado of
starts off-
paintings.
But yes, quite an art fan.
Big fan of art.
Big fan.
But he makes it a little creepy.
Right, he uses
a
dead.
little. Just a little.
I mean, specifically, he uses dead bodies to make his art.
Right.
Look,
Girl
he
with
likes
the pearl earring, Mona Lisa. It's really gross.
he likes three-dimensional representations of 2D art. Can you really fault the man for that?
I can't find anything about Eliza's tea room, but I know it's real.
I think she
People
does.
who comment on this video, please.
Did you just
back
make up a
me
game?
No, it was like an Alice in Wonderland ARG thingy. Somebody will know.
No, but that
Whatever.
sounds great.
People will know.
Yeah, so there's it starts off disturbing with that guy, and then I thought, oh great, this is how bad it is, and then it gets worse later with a lady pouring bleach in your face.
Well-
and,
Yeah, that's
melting
where
your
I just
face.
ended.
Well,
I'm the cat right now.
Let's go back to
Where I
that for a
just ended.
second. So you had, you can construct two weapons there, right?
Right.
I didn't know
You
that
can do
until
the mace.
afterwards.
Which one did you end up using?
Spear.
Same.
The spear? Oh, I maced him.
Really?
How was that?
See, I made
built
the
both
spear.
of them.
I made the spear, and then it was like I was doing a walkthrough, and I'm like, oh, you can make a mace too? Don't give a shit.
Just get through this.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, spear.
See, I
Done.
made them both. I completed them both, and then I got behind him. I was like, "Ooh, which one looks meaner?" The
The mace
mace.
probably was mean.
It was a saw blade on the end of a chair leg with
Oh,
a doll
yeah.
head capping it off.
Okay, yeah, that would be satisfying.
Oh, I gave it to him right in the back of the skull. It was great.
Yeah.
It's so satisfying to murder such a nasty human being.
Also,
I mean, in a game.
it's so strange when he's like, hey, let's talk about that girl that you knew who was a nurse. When you're like, oh. Like,
Right.
you get
I mean,
stabbed out of
you spend
nowhere.
so much time dying or killing yourself or
There's a lot of it.
dying.
And there was the arm getting lopped off, which was when you were in the undead world already.
Yeah,
so that
she,
was a
puts
little
her arm
weird.
in to do the thingy, the switch. I have to say the best thing that I learned about this game was when Ryan came by and told me how to skip dialogue.
Yeah.
Oh, the space.
Yeah, I
Space
didn't
bar.
know that. So Ryan came by and I was like, oh,
I had been looking for that because it's, especially when ordinarily I would just play it through normal speed, but at this kind of accelerated timeline, I was just like, I really need this to go faster.
And also they'll be like, the other day,
Mm.
bing bong, bing bong. I was thinking.
I will say there was a lot of the dialogue moved really slow.
yes,
There
the
seemed
pacing.
a lot of weird gaps between elements of dialogue, and my computer's not slow enough to be, responsible for all
No,
of that. It
not
just
at
seems
all.
like some of the programming, then there'd be a weird kind of awkward animation, and then there'd be more dialogue, but it just didn't. It didn't really flow. I got the gist of it. I know it's an indie game. It's made by probably a one dude on a shoestring budget, and it definitely got the point across, but a lot of it wasn't elegant.
Yeah,
Yes.
the pacing early on, especially through that first encounter with your first crazy person, your first parasite, is really slow. It almost lost me. Almost got into that hatful boyfriend kind of zone where I was like, all right, well, this is just my life now. But after you hit that, it's like, oh, okay, stuff's going to happen in this game. I get it now. And the spacebar definitely helps get you to that point. The audio in this game, and I'm sure this is an artistic choice, maybe, but it sounds like it was recorded with whatever microphone happened to come with the guy's computer from across the room in a bus station.
I will say I thought the voice acting was really good.
I enjoyed the Welsh nurse.
The Welsh.
The Welsh nurse.
Yeah. I was like, ooh, I can tell you're Welsh. That was very exciting for me.
I can discern your accent.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then later along, have the point you guys gotten to, has the girl moved into your second bedroom?
She came to look at my
Mitzi.
house.
Mitzi.
She came to look at my room.
Yeah.
She's weird.
I like her. She's totally weird, but I
didn't
like her.
want to ask her, are you part of the emo subculture? But it made me ask her.
It is weird that there's a lot of those conversations that you can't end it and just go on. You have to ask them every single thing and go through all the options. Some of them can be really long. Later in the game, it feels like there's a lot of dialogue. There's a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, you learn a lot from it. Like the reason that poor, what's her name, Susan is all alone is she used to be married and she had a kid. And
which you kind of can infer from the context in at least chapter 4. You know, you wander around your apartment, or chapter 3, when you're wandering around your apartment, it's like, oh, my husband left. Here's an empty bedroom with a teddy bear in it.
Yeah,
Not
but like
a happy
she
story
goes
there.
through and she sort of like relives that whole thing, and it turns out that like she had a secret admirer who sent her flowers, and then it turns out the baby was allergic to him, but she didn't go in the room to check on the baby because she was busy fighting with her husband, and so the baby like died of this super rare allergy to pollen, and then her husband went and drank himself to death in a forest.
Wow. Well, so that's why she's not like flowers in the hospital. Remember in the hospital, she's like,
that's
oh, I
upper.
don't want to touch flowers.
She's like, yeah. So that's like that whole thing. So it's actually a lot of that sort of circles back, which is nice. You figure out a lot about why. And I guess there are multiple endings to this game. So I'm one of those people that I'm like, oh, Susan, you're so depressed. I'm going to get you the golden ending, girl. And there's like all these requirements, though, that luckily I lucked myself through a couple of the early ones before I figured out like which ones and went and was like, no, I'm going to get this one too. One of my favorite parts of the game is the crow's riddle. I think it's chapter 3, where there's this crow. You're trapped. You have to pick 2 doors, and it's the like you have to ask the attendants a question. One of them always tells the truth. One of them always lies. As soon as that came up, I was like, I know this. I've seen Labyrinth. I know this question.
Yeah.
I was just so happy for that one to come up. I got this one right, and it turns out that's one of the
So what was the correct answer?
So it's I don't remember the exact format of the question in this game, but it's the same sort of
one
thing where
always
it's
tells
like
the truth, one always lies.
and so you go to one and you say, would he tell me that this door, which door would he tell me leads out? And then you take the other one, because if the one who's talking to you, if the one you ask is telling the truth, that's what the other one would say, then the other one is lying.
Right.
And, and vice versa. So you take whichever one they don't say.
I did not take the right answer.
What was behind your door?
I just...
The apartment?
Yeah, I blew out another candle, and then I was back to life.
Oh, you're right. I did blow out a candle, and then I was back to life.
Oh, behind my door was a table with flowers on it, and she goes like, I hate flowers, and then like it's a different thing.
Didn't get that.
Interesting.
So the great reward was, something I hate.
Yeah.
Cool. Well,
Great
back to
reward.
life.
Well, but
Something
it's,
you've always
there's
wanted.
like some weird message in that whole thing. I was so busy being self-satisfied I haven't got it right. And then trying to be like, wait, I did get it right? Because this doesn't seem like a thing that I would like.
This isn't a good thing.
But it turns out it was. There's a couple. Let's see. You have to tell the Queen of Maggots, I'll do it my way.
Oh, really?
That's one of the
okay.
requirements. You have to answer. There's a nurse who talks to you in the hospital, and then later on, she's like standing on a roof, ready to commit suicide, and you have to like answer a bunch of questions to prove that you had listened to her earlier, because she's feeling very cut off from everyone. So you have to answer at least 2 of those questions right.
Oh, wait, I did that. Okay.
I didn't.
The first question she asked me,
I
I
was like, I basically just pushed her off because I was like, I don't know. I didn't listen to you. I'm
Who
sorry.
are you?
Yeah.
remember.
I didn't either. Like I
Francine,
hurried
get
through
down,
that.
Francine.
I skipped a whole
Her
bunch of
name
her
is Liz.
questions because I was like, "Who are you? I don't care.
Yeah.
You're not progressing this in any way." So I was like hurrying through it. Luckily, I was streaming at the time. I played the first couple chapters of this on our Twitch. Unfortunately, in the middle of the night, which was not the ideal time to be playing it. And so I'd ask everyone, be like, "What's the answer?" And then I'd be like, "Are you having me on? No, a lot of you are doing the same answer, so we're gonna go with this one." And it turned out they were all very helpful and they were all the right answers.
Awesome.
So my suspicion was completely unfounded.
Too bad you can't save Liz for
Right.
realsies.
Right, but she knows that I listened.
She does know.
That's some
Does
comfort.
she? What
It's
were
not
you
enough
interacting
to
with?
keep her alive, but she does know.
Was that actually Liz, or was that the ghost of Liz?
I think it was Ghost of Liz.
Okay. Because you talk to the nurse up front, she's like, I don't know.
Yeah,
but she doesn't know anything.
She's not even real.
Yeah, because
so.
hadn't the doctor already killed her?
Well, when you get down there and find her body, you examine her and like, oh, she's been dead for a long time.
Yeah.
Right.
There's a lot of bodies in this.
Oh, yeah.
There are a lot of like serial murderers. You go through the house with the bleach and there's someone that's like decomposing in a bathtub. There's just there's a lot of like really nasty
Well, look,
stuff.
when you got a mechanic whereby your person keeps coming back to life, you're going to wake up in a lot of places where serial killers have left bodies.
Apparently
Pretty
that's
much,
the
right?
rule, apparently.
That sounds like an immortality sitcom. Oh, I just keep waking up a serial killer.
Did you guys in chapter 3, like when you get back to her apartment and it's like, all right, we're going to have a cheeseburger, we're going to have a coffee and a cigarette.
I blew that cheeseburger up.
Really?
You blew it up?
I nuked it.
Walk
I didn't
through, girl.
examine
Walk
the
through.
things. Yeah, that was the problem. I was like, I guess 90 seconds? That seems like a reasonable
You didn't
amount.
examine the cheeseburger?
I didn't
told
examine the
you.
cheeseburger. Apparently, you have to examine the microwave, too, to find out the
Right,
wattage.
yeah.
Exactly.
I know. I was just like, what's the worst that could happen between
You-
60
and you
seconds
blew
and
it
90
up.
seconds? Hamburgers don't explode in 30-second differences. I'm sorry.
They might.
disagree.
Apparently they do.
That is an inaccuracy. I would like
Tell
to have
it
it
to the
noted
hot dog.
for the game developer that 30 seconds in the microwave does not destroy I guess
It
it was
destroys her
frozen.
gentle psyche, I'll tell
It
you that
does.
much.
My red bar
Right.
was like full on red very early on in that.
I had that where it filled up once this like the guy comes up to yell at her for playing piano.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, she is getting a good night's sleep. I went back and I did that part over again, and I did it all right. And then she was like, and then went and like laid down in bed and had a good night.
Oh, really? I thought
I
no
didn't
matter
know
what
you could get that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Even in the walkthrough, it was like no matter what, she has a breakdown.
She does not.
Huh.
It's like you have to do things in like a really specific order. You can't have any of the like things that raise her psyche bar. You can't have any of those that aren't necessary.
You just have to have, like, the blue bar over the red bar?
There are some you can't avoid, but by the time you get to the end, you can fill up the green bar. And
Right,
if the green bar
mine
is
were
full,
perfectly even. It was just one on either side would have tipped me, and the guy knocked on the door. And
I ended up so that it was the red was about halfway, and the green
wow.
was like this far from full. And then so I was really worried that the guy on the door was going to fill up the red one, but he didn't.
nice.
As I said, screw you, dude. I'm gonna go to bed.
Yeah, I got
I
an
was really
achievement
proud of
for
that
telling him to go fuck off. That was
Yeah.
cool.
All right, well, spoil it for us. What's the what
What's the
happens
good
in the
ending?
game?
So the golden ending is exactly what you think the golden ending is. She doesn't kill herself anymore.
Hey, good for her.
She starts a blog,
She
and
starts a
like a
blog.
community for other people who are
Okay.
depressed to try to help them through it. And Mitzi gets better.
Really?
Mitzi's cancer goes away.
Yeah, she becomes your roommate, and she's stalking the man who essentially convinced her boyfriend
Yeah.
to kill himself.
Yeah.
He couldn't deal with her cancer, and so he decided to kill himself and wanted her to kill herself with him.
Yeah, there are a couple of different options for the ending. Like you get to this point, and it's like you are finally confronting this dude who what's his name? Eye of Adam, and Mitzi's there, and you're there, and there's a gas there as well. So you can choose to keep the gas mask and save yourself, or give it to Mitzi. And then Mitzi dies, and you can get revenge for her by killing Eye of Adam, or you can give her the mask. Look, you're immortal. You don't have to worry about that
Yeah.
shit.
That's right.
So then you can do that, and that's what you're supposed to do. That's like the nice thing to do. Then I'm an immortal thing and save your friend.
That's supposed to occur to you that you're an immortal.
Well, sure.
What?
Like at one point, like you shoot yourself in the head to get you because your face
You
is melted
do.
with bleach.
Yeah.
Like,
well, you gotta,
I
I gotta hit the reset button on that.
Got to clear that up somehow.
You know.
I mean.
Let's see what else.
But it was weird that they inserted like this whole little diatribe. I don't know if you got there, but right there where they're talking about Jack and Mitzi's giving you your story, there's this weird like inserted diatribe on internet trolling.
Oh yeah, and that comes up again. Like there are a couple of little bits in there where the Mitzi goes off on how this guy's an internet troll and he's terrible and he's going to send people to kill themselves, and he's like just like the worst. But he's got like attention seeking and like she all this stuff, and I was like this. So the developer has a lot to say about the depression and suicide, but he also has a lot to say about internet trolls apparently. Yeah. And then later on, Mitzi signs Susan up for social networks. So she can have friends.
Except for when somebody trolls her, and then she probably okay,
right.
well, it comes full circle.
But it's like there are a couple of like weird like modern technology social networking insertions. in the game too that I didn't really like fully understand. But it was like I mean, I guess I'm glad that that we played the game for the experience of it. This is definitely not a game I would have picked up on my own and been like, hey, I really feel like being horribly like depressed and disturbed, especially right before bed. Let's play this one. Especially because the cat lady sounds like a nice name.
It does, and there's not enough cats. We talked about that.
Not nearly enough cats. You do get to play a cat.
I know, that's where I
sequence,
ended
which
up,
is
was the
nice.
cat.
Yes.
What would be the appropriate number of cats?
Oh, like
for the
40
game?
cats.
Right.
40 cats?
She's the cat lady, man. I do like that they come whenever she like plays the piano, and at one point they come and they knock down like a home intruder in her house and they eat him.
See, that's the cat lady should have that power.
I think that fulfills the requirements if you have summonable cat friends that will attack
absolutely.
intruders.
Absolutely. I was like, you go cats.
I played a different indie game earlier this week. It made me almost vomit, and I had to stop playing. It's called The Static Speaks My Name, and it's basically the cat lady in a it takes 10 minutes to play, but it's a person who has captured another human being and has them in a cage, so you got the disturbing factor, and also they commit suicide at the end.
All right.
So it's a 10-minute version of the cat lady.
Wow.
An homage, if you will.
Was there no gold ending?
No.
Maybe
There's
if you
nothing
just
you
saved
can be
Liz.
done, and also a diatribe about internet trolls, sort of.
I actually, when I asked a couple people on Twitter what they thought, because there were a bunch of people that played along with us. Really sorry about that.
Yeah.
if you're sensitive. But James Anthony said it's probably some of the best storytelling in a game this decade.
What?
I will agree
Pretty
that there were.
profound statement.
I don't know that I go that far, but I thought there were some nice subtleties, a lot of callbacks, like the whole flowers and all that sort of stuff. Keenan McCall said good story, interesting art design, maybe an 8 or an 8.5. Wow. Mandy said it's bizarre but very interesting. The style is reminiscent of a Sierra game with the blood of a Tarantino film. I'd watch more.
It kind of also reminded me of like a Smashing Pumpkins video or something. You know what I mean? Like a 90s alt-rock video.
Yeah, okay.
That's true.
Maybe like I think it's the sky that goes by, that orange sky that like zips by when you're in the other world.
That's true.
Maybe think so.
Michaela Nip, I think that's how I pronounce your name, sorry, said the game does have some dark moments, but it has a deep story that really intrigued me. Of course, the game doesn't get less gruesome. No, it does not.
Dark moments. That's an odd way to describe it. It has some dark moments. It's like a dark moment that has extra dark moments.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's its zero baseline for dark is already way off the camera. This is as low as I can go and still be on the screen.
Someone named Hospice said it should be rated E, such a kid-friendly game.
E for everyone, hide your eyes.
Yes.
And Hyper Game is Botched said, I loved it when I played through it. It had been a while since something genuinely creepy had come out, and I got my hands on it. I can agree with that. I've never played anything that was quite this level of creepy, I think.
It's a weird thing to call it a creepy. I guess it is a creepy game. It's not one of those like I jumped out and got you kind of scary games. It's not like Alien Isolation. It's
there were no real jump scares.
No.
It was just something that you were always really stressed out playing.
You're seeing very disturbing things a lot.
Yeah, but I still feel like it's also not one of those games, at least to me, that, like, to me, truly creepy games are ones where I'm thinking about it later. Like, I'm you know what I mean? Like, it sticks with you. I don't feel like this game is going to stick with me in that kind of way. Like, where it really, like, made me think about something that was really creepy. Yeah. It was just kind of like, oh, maybe because I was so disconnected from it.
Stuck with me. I keep thinking about it and going, ugh.
All right, well, final verdict. What do you think, Ashley?
Good experience to have. Not a game that I'd probably pick up on my own, just because it's not the kind of game I play. For the budget the guy was probably working on, I think did a great job. The game has something to say, and it definitely says it.
All right. Meg?
Not my kind of game. The Miss America answer is just not for me. The true answer is did not like.
Not for anyone.
But good for this person who put this together. I acknowledge not everything is for me. This was not for me.
I feel like, honestly, and this is why I really regret that I haven't been able to get all the way to the end, this is one of those games that coming into, I feel like if I just finished it, I would have a much stronger opinion on it. It's like one of those art movies where you're like, ooh, this is all going to be about the payoff at the end.
That's a Donnie Darko.
Yeah, exactly.
Or
it's like
Valiant Hearts.
The ending will define for me really more strongly how I feel about it. But what I've gotten through so far is, yes, if you can get past the pacing elements early on, at least to the point where I am now, It was worth it. I mean, the art is not beautiful. It's not a perfect game in a lot of regard, but it does have an interesting story. And hey, everybody hates internet trolls, so if we can just kill a few more of them in a video game,
So true.
that's where we'll. So I guess that's a solid maybe.
Yes, no, and a maybe.
I think it's a solid. Your mileage may vary. This is definitely
go.
this is a very niche sort of game, and it doesn't pretend to be anything else.
It's art.
That's very
if you
true.
like art.
And usually I love art games
Yeah.
and like games that are just like, oh, it's not about the game, it's about the story. And for the,
Well, that's the thing about an art game is it's very easy for it also to not be your
that's very
your
true.
flavor.
Absolutely true.
Yeah.
This was
So-
a rocky road.
Yeah.
Love Rocky Road.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's my favorite.
Oh, we've got an ice cream divide here.
ready.
Is there going to be an ice cream throwdown?
We can only hope. So what should we play next?
Well, we got some free options that are coming up, right?
That's right. Limbo is going to be free on Xbox One starting
Wait,
tomorrow.
no, it's not.
No,
Limbo's
that's
not free.
Oh,
no,
Child of Light's going to be
is.
free.
Yeah, Child of Light's
Which
going to be free,
hey,
but
pulling back the curtain, we thought about doing that. We're not going to. We're going to do Limbo.
we're going to do Limbo.
Sorry.
Let's do
It's not
Limbo.
free.
Let's do Limbo, which was free.
Limbo
It was
is
actually.
Once upon a time.
bite-sized. And then, like, the next week, can we do something that's maybe a little happier? Because we've got a real string going of, like, games
This is
that
sort
are...
of an uptick. Like,
Yeah.
I've played through Limbo already. I'm going to go ahead and throw that
Yeah.
out there. So I know I think actually we've.
Yeah,
I
we've
think
all
at
we've
least
all
we
played
had
it,
some
but
experience with it.
I could use a refresh, and
Absolutely.
I could
I'll
use some
definitely go through
Xbox
again.
One achievements.
Yeah, I still need the get all the way through with less than 5 deaths.
I
think that may be my
look
only
forward
achievement.
to seeing if you accomplish that. Because
I will accomplish
if
before
I
the
can
next
get
one.
through it with less than like 100 deaths, I'm like,
did it. Nailed it.
All right, so
yes.
next week Limbo.
Next
and,
week, Limbo.
Thank you all for joining
Not
us,
free,
and we'll
sorry.
see you Wednesday.
all right, see you guys.